Don't we all say that at some point in our lives? And I just have to thank Santino, who I actually have never met you before, that, how did you know that the person I'm going to introduce is actually a living specimen of all of the things you were talking about? Truly, although I honestly have to say, I don't hear real well, and even though, obviously, I have hearing aids, but I'm way over there, and you're kind of talking this way. So but I still, though, got your spirit, and I know that this is really going to just fit right in. So, because this person I'm going to introduce also grew up locally. Even he got here from the beginning, whereas you were 10 years old, I heard. And this person is a graduate of a university. He was always outdoors, often barefoot, getting into good trouble, so I hear. An appetite for taking risks, which I heard from you. At a very young age, having just mastered a tricycle, they tested their skills tearing down a local hill. People were horrified. A police officer returned them home safely. Perhaps this explains a lifelong respect for the role of the law of enforcement in protecting citizens from themselves. So we will see. Graduated to a two-wheeler with an odometer and a spiral notebook. Oh boy, I hope we're not picking up too much here. And embarked on an 18-month project measuring and recording the length of every street in one of our towns. Much re-measuring, re-recording to get it right. Perhaps explaining a deep knowledge of the neighborhoods of that town, a lifelong focus in goal setting, list making, and an early example of reporting data that factored in much of their life. So now we're in high school and on a 10-speed. And he engaged friends to bike over the Cascades. Can you believe this? Age, 15, 16? So they're biking over the Cascades to the Puget Sound area. They made it, although there was that encounter with the law, which we can expect, I think, from any self-respecting adventurer, myself included. So then what? I'm kind of like, gotta get this in the right place. Can you hear me well? Now even better. So this led to giving talks to local outdoor clubs, showing early support for civic engagement and an inkling of presentation skills that became an important part of their life. So there are other aspects of personality. Loves to read, loves playing tricks on people. The tricks are good. People often fall for them. Yes. Was rumored to be afraid of heights, but the challenge was too inviting. Has a bunch of crazy friends. They conquered Washington's tallest peaks, Adams, St. Helens, Rainier, Axe, as long as they could climb with a Diet Coke. Who could this be? Don't ask them, though, to do things with their hands. Inept, you might say, with a hammer or a needle. Being no good with buttons, could get away with shirt unbuttoned, hair tousled. There was much more important things to do and care about. So who could this be? This person has accomplished a huge amount, not a tech kind of person, more a yellow pattern, I should have brought a yellow pad just to demonstrate. But pad in hand, fighting hard on many fronts with a very strong sense of justice. And like you were talking, Santino, this person poured their heart and soul into making the Tri-Cities a safer, more kind, and neighborly place for all. So listen to all the things that I'm just naming some that they care about. Children's Reading Foundation, Safe Harbor Crisis Center, Three Rivers Roadrunners, United Way, Cystic Fibrosis, Fraternal Order Police, Chaplaincy, Red Cross, Academy of Children's Theater, served on a panel at the Tri-City Islamic Center to build a bridge between local Muslims and elected officials. A passion for kids. When my friend's place, an overnight sanctuary for homeless teens, was in financial trouble, swam miles in the Columbia to raise critical donations. Sexual Assault Center helped inaugurate Kids Haven to streamline child victim interviews and reduce victim trauma. Raised money for years to ensure that orphan children from tragic cases of murder had gifts. So a strong focus on helping organizations designed to give that second chance. And that's again, Santino, I think you talked about that. Had a major role in establishing therapeutic courts, an alternative to incarceration for drug, mental health, and veterans, eliminating criminal records after court-directed treatment is completed. Circle of Hope supports the Benton County Alternative Drug Court and every time attending graduations. Nonstop work with local leaders, and this again, I just hear that collaboration, that creating the community that you want to live in. This is what we're all doing, and this is what this person absolutely did. Nonstop work with local leaders for voter passage of the public safety tax that included funding for three of the most important things to this person: therapeutic courts, law enforcement, and support for anti-gang prevention programs. Mirroring that strong interest in youth, the outdoors, and the community, Friends of Badger Mountain support on the beloved trails, Boy Scouts, Bike Tri-Cities, Columbia Center Rotary, on awards and scholarships. And then an everlasting effort working with police, multiple organizations, counties, which he had to work really, really hard to make sure that they were deeply involved, and individuals to establish the new Columbia Valley Center for Recovery. So providing critical support for recovery from alcohol and drug abuse and intervention to criminality. So do we have an idea who I am talking about? Yeah. Yes, if you don't know who I am talking about, I think you've been trucking at the South Pole. But I'm going to put a cherry or two on top. Okay. You know, I was going to say that he graduated from WSU because a friend of his told me that's how I could throw people off. It didn't quite come out of my mouth, did it? Because he is not a cougar. He is indeed a husky. So that's why WSU couldn't come out, I guess. And I am, you know, recognize I am saying the gender. So we know it's a he. And this person, of course, was elected as Benton County's prosecutor, serving for 36 years. Where are you, Andy? You must be here somewhere.
Sharon asked me when I started thinking it might be me, and I said when she used the word inept. And why did I think of Mark Showalter and Renee Vasquez? I want to tell you that one qualification for this award apparently is not maturity, because many of you saw me scurrying around with my camera because I wanted to take a picture with Jim Mattis, who I had the pleasure of sitting with and learning so much tonight, and our Tony Award winner, Santino Fontana, and a personal hero of mine, Ken Holmberg. And I texted that to people like Bill Lansing, Ray Durkee, Alan Brecky, Frank Armijo, saying, Bombers rule, Bulldogs and Lions. Wow. Randy. Anyway. So anyway, Sharon was kind enough to mention my law enforcement, and I know some of you have heard me say this before, but when we talk about law enforcement, I just want to say how proud I was to work with them during my career. Detectives loved calling me up at 2 in the morning or 3 on a Sunday afternoon and asking me to go to some God-forsaken place to help out, to visit the crime scene, help out with search warrants and arrest warrants. But the fun fact is, detectives don't let the prosecutor come to a crime scene until that crime scene is 100% safe. Our police officers and sheriff's deputies don't have that luxury. They are 911. They go into a scene where when a victim is laying down, and they risk their lives to save that person, not knowing who's around the corner. And I would say a highlight of my career is getting to work with those brave men and women who risk their lives for us every day. And yes, and Santino, I did pick up on what Marie said about what's the difference between actors and lawyers. I do love the courtroom. I love going to trial. But the lawyers really aren't that big a deal. And it's the victims, and especially on child abuse cases, when that child comes and testifies in front of the person who victimized them, in front of the jury and the judge. And I was always inspired by the courage of those young kids. And they are the true heroes on this. And I just want to move on. I see my 3 sons are here, and of course, beautiful Adele. But she must have thought me, because she was sitting right there. And being a prosecutor is a hard job, and the problem is with a lot of jobs, it can change you from who you are. And one person who did not let that happen was Pat Fleming, who was the office administrator all these years. And I was starting to overreact, or I would start pouting or whatever. Pat would just come to my office. Or when I would dictate a strongly worded letter to somebody, and then a couple days later I'm thinking, I shouldn't have written that letter. And Pat says, well, Andy, you know I didn't mail it. And Carrie Ron, who, by the way, never goes to anything like this, and it's no surprise that Chief Homer, are you surprised that Carrie is hiding behind Carrie Ron and I tried so many horrible, horrible cases together. And I did worry that being prosecutor would change who I was. Carrie is one of the best trial lawyers I've ever seen. And she showed me how you can do that in a professional way And she was such a good influence on me, and she helped me stay at least kind of human. So thank you, Terry. I have people here from Montana and Nevada, and Jay Flynn is here, and he's always bragged about being the second best travel lawyer in the Tri-States. Anyway, you guys elected me all these years so I could think on my feet, but I have to concede defeat on that. I was already a wonderful night getting to talk to Jim Mattis and Santino. You did such a job of inspiring. I had so many friends, including our Columbia Center Mountaineers, who didn't let me turn around when I was afraid halfway up the mountain. Everybody on this stage, including my high school friends, Rich Siefkin and Bill Pearson, who have kept me on the straight and narrow. And I just can't thank all of you enough for this wonderful, wonderful award. Thank you.
And we're going to get a photo up here. You can give me your award.
I didn't see Terry Moore here. Terry is just every bit as good a lawyer as Terry, a little bit better than Jay. Terry, no mistake, a good human being. And of course, my three sons, who, if you want to cause some trouble, come up to them and say, which one of you is the tallest? Dad said yes.
So, Andy, before you leave the stage, we have a special gift for you. The Tri-Citian of the Year Committee and Foundation gives a $2,500 check to the charity recommended by your family. So the check this evening is going to the Benton County Recovery Center. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Congratulations, Andy Miller, our new 2025 Tri-Citian of the Year. Yeah!